Hello there. Today we'll talk about the alignment tools in Figma. This video is part of the Figma Learning series, where we dive into the fundamental concepts of designing and prototyping in Figma to help you jumpstart your idea with maximum confidence and productivity. Some Figma features like the alignment tools can be confusing to use at first, but you'll soon learn after the video that it's actually really intuitive. Let's begin. Alignment is an essential concept to learn that separates novice designers and the professionals. Creating designs that are beautiful, engaging, and that just flows start with a good layout. Let's tackle coordinates first and aligning manually. Now in Figma, when an element is selected, we can see the inspector panel. Here we can tweak and control the size and location of our element, among other things. To specify the position of an element, we change the X and Y coordinates of the element relative to the frame. We can change the numbers on the input, use it as a slider, or even use some mathematical operations. For example, if I want to move this element 15 units to the left, I can type -15 and press enter and see how it makes the appropriate adjustment. When we drag objects, sometimes we'll see some red lines appear. This means it's snapping or aligning itself relative to another element or to the frame. To get a glance on the spacing of a selected element relative to its frame, we select the element, then press and hold the Option key in Mac or the Alt key in Windows. We then hover our cursor on an empty part of the frame. Now we see how far it is from the left and the right, and from the top and bottom. To do the same and find out the spacing relative to other elements is just as easy. Just hover instead on the other element. Now on to the alignment tools. Found in the upper portion of the inspector, the tools have two different behaviors: when a single element is selected, or when groups of elements are selected. Let's start with the first one in our empty frame. Let's draw a rectangle. We can click the rectangle tool from the toolbar or type R for rectangle and drag and drop one on our canvas. With the rectangle selected, we're able to see the alignment tools on the top portion of the panel. The first three buttons from the left have to do with horizontal alignment: left, horizontal center, and right. The next three buttons have to do with vertical alignment: top, vertical center, bottom. When a single element is clicked within a frame, the alignment tools align the element relative to its position within the frame. Let's focus on these buttons first with an exercise. Let's say I create multiple elements that each represent the 9 areas to align on the frame: top right, top left, bottom center, and so on. Let's use the alignment tools to align them to the correct area. Pause the video and try it first as an exercise. Ready to know the answer? Here it is. For most of the elements, 2 clicks on the alignment tool can solve it. For top left, we click Align Top, then Align Left. For top center, we click Align Top, then Align Horizontal Centers. For top right, we click Align Top, then Align Right. For middle left, we click Align Left, then Align Vertical Centers. For middle right, we click Align Right, then Align Vertical Centers. For middle center, we click Align Horizontal Centers, then Align Vertical Centers. And it's a similar procedure for the bottom elements. There, pixel perfect. It's important to note that this alignment behavior will only work if the element is within a frame. Otherwise, the alignment tools will be grayed out. The reason is because there's no context for which the element would base its alignment onto. Now we move on to the other alignment behavior. When we have multiple elements selected, the basis for alignment becomes the bounding box. It's the blue rectangle that surrounds all of the elements selected. Because of this, the alignment might change as the bounding box changes. Let me give an example. Here we have two rectangles, and here is its bounding box. When I click right align, they align correctly to the rightmost boundary of the box. Notice how the size of the bounds have changed as well to adapt to the element's new positions. Now when we align left, the red rectangle now aligns to the updated leftmost boundary, and it does not return to its previous position. The last button is a drop-down for more alignment options, and when we click it, we see Tidy Up and Distribute Vertical or Horizontal Spacing respectively. These only work when there are multiple elements selected or if a group element is selected. Let's see what they do. The last two options are pretty straightforward. Given several elements, it will distribute the spacing between each element vertically or horizontally, depending on what you choose. Let's try it here. The Tidy Up option is like a variation of the two last options where Figma decides how to equally space all the selected elements. It will either distribute vertically, horizontally, or both. So it's helpful for spacing a grid like this. Take note that although groups are a collection of elements, they move as one unit, so it follows the first behavior where the basis for alignment is the frame. We would have to click inside the elements and select them all manually to align with the bounding box. Alright, now here's an additional tip when moving and aligning text elements. Text can be a tricky item to align, and sometimes the tools don't seem to work. When this happens, verify the bounding box of your text element as this is the basis for its alignment. In most cases, doing auto width would solve the case. But to make the design resilient, especially for this button, it's better to set the boundaries to be the same size as the rectangle and to correctly align it inside. That's right, text also has its own alignment settings within its bounding box. By now you should be familiar with it. It's align left, align right, align center. Then align top, align middle, and align bottom. You can play around with the settings here. And that's all we have for this quick lesson. There are lots of options and settings, so make sure to explore on your own and use this video as reference from time to time. Please like the video if you learned something useful. Do you have any questions or anything you'd like to say about the lesson? Type it in the comments below. Make sure to check out our other Figma tutorials on the channel, where we tackle other concepts like prototyping and making mockups. Be sure to subscribe and press the bell icon as well to stay notified of new videos. Until then,